Right guys, that's us finished with the kitchen now. Things are looking
Whoa. What are you doing? You've not even been in this video. And why are we starting at the fucking end? Get out. Get out. Get out. Come on. Rewind and I'll show you the work I've done. Today we're going to stick some doors and drawers on the kitchen. However, we have already run into issues. Literally not even started and we've got a problem. So run the intro and then I'll tell you what's going on. Right, let me get down here. If you remember, we took the bases out. Excuse me. We took the bases out of the kitchen before we screwed it into the wall and the floor. And then in the last video we put ducting in, and I've just gone to put the bases back in so that we can start measuring up to cut the doors and the drawers. So the little base, I actually want to redo this because I want a different shape, but never mind. The little base goes in and sits pretty much flush with the front of here and the front of that one. Don't know if you can see on the camera. So let's move on to the next cabinet. Let me put the base in for this one. Nice and easy. Line that up, and that is flush on the front there, and if you can see, and the front there. So perfect, just as we originally had. Now let's move on to the problem bastard child. Now, if we put this in, slide that, yeah, this is awkward, slide that in, and on. If I line this up with this side, what the fuck is going on here? It's not lined up. I have somehow, either when I built it, hang on, oh, got tight spaces, either when I built this thing or manoeuvring it to put it in and screw it down, I have somehow ended up with this side further forward. I've literally no clue how. Now, it doesn't sound like a massive problem, however, the issue is we had originally decided to put inset doors on and drawers. So whatever the shape of the door or drawer would have been flush on the inside of the frame here, and the same on that side, all on the inside of this frame. But if this isn't lined up properly, which is not, what's going to happen is it'll be flush on this side, and then over there it'll be sticking out like that. And I can't have that because that's not right. So let me stand up because my knees are hurting, and then I'll tell you what the plan is. We have spent the whole morning talking about possibilities and ways to fix it, different hinges, different door styles, you name it, we've spoke about it. So what we have decided, in going back and forth about what it could look like with this or that, we've decided the first cabinet under the sink is going to be, let me zoom you out a little bit and I'll show you. First cabinet here will have a shelf on the inside and a full door, which I've cut one down. So it'll have a full door sitting inside there like that. Okay, the next cabinet along next cabinet here is going to have 3 drawers in, no problem, 3 different sizes, one narrow, one medium, one deep. They'll all pull out, not an issue whatsoever. So end cabinet, little problem child, move you around one more time so you can see what's going on. So instead of having drawers or a door, we have decided, and we actually both really like this idea now, of having an open cabinet with a shelf across, made out of the green plywood, a shelf that pulls out. So it'll just be as you see now, but with a pull-out green shelf. And we think the contrast will look good. We can inset that shelf a little bit so that you won't notice the fact that this isn't lined up properly. And I think that will work well. So all I've got to do now to hide my mistake is trim off this in a line that does meet that. So visually that won't stick out and no one will notice, hopefully. That'll make that look all in line, and then it's just a case of, well, I've done one door there. I need to figure out how to make drawers, because I've never done that before, and figure out how to make a pull-out shelf, which shouldn't be too difficult, he says. Oh, these tiny spaces are not good for my knees. Right, hang on, let me see if I can get my leg in there. Oh, that's better. Right, I'm going to try and be a little bit posh and give ourselves some options for shelf heights. I have bought Amazon's cheapest whole gauge thing, I don't know what to call it. I'll put a link in the description anyway. So essentially it's just a little manoeuvrable jig. You unscrew these, set them however far apart you want them. Got 4 holes, and then set this at the depth you want it, put that on your wood, and then you've got 4 holes to choose from. So what I've done is put a little mark up here roughly where I want it, measured that, and then done the same on that side. So I'll line this up. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but there's a little mark there. I'll line that up with that, drill the 4 holes, and then line that same thing up on that side, drill the 4 holes, and then use little shelf pins, pop them in 4, and yeah, that's it. And there you have it. 4 options for a shelf. Do the other side, figure out how to do the back, and we're good to go. Can cut a shelf down. Right, we've got all the green bits cut. So we've got 1 full-size door for under the sink, 3 different sized drawer faces for in the middle, 1, 2, 3, and then 2 pull-out shelves which will have these little bits going around it, which will also have the what do you call them? Not hinges, fucking hell. Runners, the runners going on the sides. So that'll be on the side of there, that'll be on the side of there, and that whole thing will pull out. So the runners are on the way now, hopefully, should be delivered in a minute, and then I'll crack on with putting them in, I think, just to make sure that I've measured everything alright. I've not got any hinges yet for the door, but I'll go to the shop and pick some up, and then I've got to figure out how to make drawer boxes, which will be fun. Right, we've had a delivery. And the black edge banding has come, so what we're going to do is around the outside of the doors, the green doors pull out bit, we're going to edge this, because I don't like the look of this plywood. We're going to edge this in black. How we do this is apparently with this edge banding, and it's iron on edge banding. So I've got my iron, no idea how hot it's supposed to be, but apparently we can just press this on and iron over the top of it, and it sticks like glue. So I'm thinking we'll do a test piece just to see what happens. Hang on. Right, let's see what happens. So it's slightly wider than the wood. I think the wood's 15, this is 19. So it's to line it up correctly, and then we'll trim it down afterwards. See what happens. I'm only going to fuck my iron up, or fuck the trim up. I don't even know how long you're supposed to hold this for. Right, well, it's definitely stuck. It looks fine. I'm going to have to be careful with the knife as I trim it down, but looks okay. Right, I've just started to put together the first slide out shelf, if you will. So we've got these shelf runners. They are pop out ones. So which way around is it? That'll be on the wall, that'll be on the side of the shelf there, and well, not there, there. And when you push the shelf in, it'll release the slide and then you can pull it out. I chose these because what I was thinking is that when we're driving around, we obviously don't want these flying open and closed, and that is basically a locked position until you push it. So what I'm hoping is it's strong enough that when we're going side to side, it doesn't do that. We'll see. So the way I figured out the size of this shelf was measured the gap that I've got available, and then minus the thickness of both of the runners, minus the thickness of the two sides that I've put on, and then that left me with the size that I need to cut for the shelf itself. If I've got this right, it should fit in. I did just sort of hold it together and slide it in. It was very tight. I've got it to the millimetre. My worry is that I've got to take it apart if the runners don't work properly and shave off like 1/2 mil off of this. But we'll do the first one and we'll see how it goes. Right, I have put one in. What I've done is use a stack of scraps of wood so that I know exactly how high the runner is. I'm going to do exactly the same on this side, push all them up, and now I know that that's exactly the same height. And as far as how far back it's gone, where's the runner? So that'll sit there like that. And I've used another scrap of wood just to measure how far back it's going to sit. So it's going to sit there like that, and now I can just screw that in. Right, let's see if this has worked. Okay, please work. Absolutely. That's it locked. I mean, I could probably yank it open. No, it's quite strong. Pops open, pulls out. Very happy. That's ace. Right, that's nicely lined up. One more test. just to make sure. Right, let's get the next one in. Right, here we go. Oh, you're stuck on. Get off. You've got it in backwards, you stupid bastard. That's why it's not going in. Oh, bloody hell. Try again. Does it work? Oh, come on. I'm not being funny, guys, but pretty impressed with myself here. Eh? Look at this. Don't get me wrong, I'm no carpenter, but pretty happy with this. Let's give everything a clean. Right, what's next? Right, everything's cut, sanded down. I've put pocket holes in the front and the back of the drawer to hold it all together. Middles are cut for the base of the drawer, so essentially it'll look like that. There's the base, two sides and two front and back. They will go up like that. Line them up. Pocket holes. That goes that way. Pocket holes. Same on that side. And then I'll drill or screw the base into the bottom, and then we can put the runners down the side and figure out where they're going. Bloody hell, this is tight. Oh god, I can't move. Right, I'm going to do the drawers. Same runners as the other shelves. Exactly the same process. I've put a piece of green board down just to act as a spacer. So I've left 1.5 centimetre gap at the bottom underneath the drawer just to give plenty of space. It's not going to catch on anything. And then I'm just going to use a piece, well, it's actually one of the door fronts, but doesn't matter. It's about halfway up the drawer box. So I'm going to put that in place just like we did on the other side. Put the runner up there, fix that, same on that side, and then attach the inside bit of the runner to that, slide it in. Everything's exactly the same as before. I just have to make sure that I put it in the right place, that's all. Right, I'm going to put the handles on the drawer fronts and then we'll attach the drawer fronts to the drawers. We've got these nice black low profile handles from Amazon. They come with screws that you can cut down. I don't know if you can see that, but you can cut them down just using pliers to the right size, depending on the wood you're using. So to do this, I've got my trusty jig that you saw before. I know how far apart the holes are of the handles. I have set this up ahead of time so that you don't get bored watching me do it, but essentially I'm just going to rest that on in place. That is exactly where it needs to be. Drill those 2 holes. That'll be in the right place for that handle. That's dead centre both ways, and that's it. Do that 3 times and we'll have 3 door fronts ready to put on. Right, as far as putting the drawer fronts on, what I had planned originally was there for to be a, well actually my original plans was a 3mm gap top and bottom everywhere, but I haven't got everything down to the mil. So we're working on 2mm gaps all the way around. So I've got these 2mm spacers. So if I rest the door on there, that's 2mm at the bottom and then 2mm either side, but it is ridiculously tight. If I jam that in like that, then that is a 2mm gap all the way around. And so what I'm going to do is drill through those holes that I made for the handles through into the box, screw them in, and then I'll know exactly where that is, and then I'll put a couple of extra screws from the inside into the door front to secure everything fully to the box. Hopefully that makes sense. Right, that is on. Hopefully when I close that there should be a 2mm gap everywhere. Oh, it's a very tight 2mm gap, but it is there, and that does open without catching anything. Perfect. Right, so I'm going to put a couple of screws from the inside going into that, obviously not protruding out, for extra support, and then we'll repeat, and that'll be done. I tell you what, it's not often I blow my own trumpet, but considering I've never built a drawer in my life, I'm very happy with this. Look at this! I did this! And they work. And they line up, and yeah, pretty proud of myself. 99% perfect, I'd say. There's little bits that could use a bit of fine adjustment. That's sticking out a little bit, but do you know what? I'm not a joiner or a carpenter. This is impressive for me. Happy days. Right, you remember we had the full piece of green here to open the door. Well, I tried to fit the brackets onto it, which I've never done before, and I fucked it up. Put them in the complete wrong place, so that piece of green is now scrap. But what I was thinking was to salvage a little bit. We've got this ugly ass sink on display if you open the cupboard like that. So what I've built is a fake shelf with a couple of L brackets, and that is going to go in there, screw into there, and give us a fake drawer, sorry, not shelf, fake drawer, so it matches the one here and it all looks like it should. And then we'll cut a new piece of green, because I screwed the other one up with the hole in the back. Cut a new piece of green, and then that'll be the door for that. So yeah, I'm happy with that. Looks good. Right, that has worked a treat. No play, fits perfect, and I've not gone through to the other side. Fantastic. So I put some tape on to mark out where I am going to put the holes, put the screw holes for the little fix in there. I didn't put enough tape on because it's actually gone past the tape, but whatever. You can see that there's a line, well, you might not be able to see on the camera, I don't know. There's a line just past the tape, so we'll line that up, make sure the arrow is pointing outwards. We'll line that up on the marks, screw that in, and hopefully, with any luck, the door should fit on. Right, just want to show you how these clip on. I have just put it on and adjusted it to get the door perfect, because there's a couple of screws in here that you can make minor adjustments to a couple of mil. So I've just done that off camera and it looks good. So they just literally push at the front here, you see on this edge, push on and then push at the back and it clips. Same on the top, clips, and that's it, done. And then you've got inside the little hole here, you've got the option to turn on or off the soft close. So with it closed, with it off, sorry, it just closes, obviously. With the soft close on, it takes a bit of a while, to be honest. I think you just pull them out and then do it one more time and it resets itself, and then when you do it the next time it should just not work. What the fuck? Hang on a minute. Oh no, hang on, I know what I've done. Wrong button. Right, little clip, that resets it. Okay, that should, there we go. See the soft close? Takes a bit of a while, look at that. Be here all day waiting for your door to close. Anyway, it's an option. So let me show you the other angle. Can you see? Yeah, you can. Right. So I've got a shelf on the inside, and if I line it up properly, then when the door closes, this sits perfectly flush. But weirdly, so that's perfectly flush, and I've made the minor adjustments, so it's good there. The gaps are all good. Weirdly though, I've always imagined the bracket would be just closed at 90 degrees. Apparently it's not, because if the shelf wasn't there, if I just move the shelf in, if the shelf's not there, the hurry up mate, the bracket, the hinge just closes even further, so you get that big gap. Don't really know why. Bit weird, but I've no idea about hinges. So as long as that shelf's in the right place, then everything's lined up properly. So very happy. I'm going to get a handle on this quickly and then give everything a oil, and I think kitchen is done. Really good. Right, to finish everything off, we have got this Osmo Pollux oil. Number is 3062. It's clear and it's matte, so there's no stain, it's just a protector. We're going to do a couple of coats of this. It'll bring the grain out, it'll give it some protection. Anything that might be visible, I'm coating in it. So I've got two cloths, one for rubbing it on and then another dry one rubbing it off. Give it about 10 hours in between, do another coat, and then that'll be that. I'm not going to film this, you don't need to see me rubbing oil on my wood. Right guys, we are done. We have pull out shelves, which is nice. We have beautiful drawers, which are great. We have a door with a 10-minute closing time, and it's starting to look like a kitchen. Thank you very much for watching once again. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, because I want to get to like 500. Is that fair to try to get to? Yeah, I don't know what we're doing next, I ain't got a clue. If the electrical system turns up, then we can crack on with that. Otherwise, I might try and figure out how to build some overhead cabinets. We shall see. See you in the next video. Bye bye.